So, welcome to this interview.
Thank you so much.
Yes. So maybe we can start by telling us who you are, what you do.
Yeah, I'm Praveen, and I'm the CEO for Belfrix Global.
Okay.
We are a blockchain technology firm, and we run exchanges in multiple countries, including Kenya.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, tell us a little bit about Belfrix, because I believe you officially launched Belfrix a couple of months ago.
Yeah.
So, maybe you can tell us a little bit of Belfrix and the role it plays in the Bitcoin and the cryptocurrency space.
Yeah. As I explained to you, so we are more blockchain technology specialist firm. We work a lot on the crypto side and also the blockchain side. In addition to that, we run the exchanges. We run exchanges in Singapore, we run exchange in India, and Kenya, as you rightly said, we launched this year, and it has been pretty good. We have got a lot of traction in the Kenyan market, and through the Kenyan market, we got a lot of exposure to other regions also. So we are currently expanding to Nigeria and other Eastern African markets also. Yeah.
Okay, so let me ask, in your view
Yeah.
or opinion, or what is your view or opinion about Bitcoin in finance?
Bitcoin in finance.
Yes.
It's a quite broad, question. Yes, it's playing a major role to that extent. It has taught the industry how to take a different approach. The currency system that has been in existence for quite a long time without much of an innovation. So Bitcoin has actually taught us that it is high time that we change the way in which how we treat the money. So yes, it's playing a major role in readying us for the next level of currency, next level of money. Now, if your context is towards whether it is playing a major role in the current financial system, it has just started. People are the people who have who have distanced themselves from the Bitcoin. Now they are looking into this. They are studying into this. The people who have talked about the Bitcoin as no technology are currently working on those technologies. So the mainstream adoption has slow and steadily come into the picture, and time will say whether Bitcoin is going to play a major role or any other cryptocurrency which is complying with the requirements of the modern world will take the lead role. Irrespective of that, it's going to stay in the mainstream market for sure.
Apart from being an exchange, I also know that you recently rolled out the Belrium, or you introduced Belrium ICO.
Yeah.
What is that all about, and how unique or is it different from other blockchains?
Yeah. In the crypto market currently, as you know that it's still predominantly a speculative market, and why the governments across the globe are still reluctant enough to regulate this particular market is predominantly because it's subject to money laundering, because the end-to-end points are not identifiable, and many of the other countries which is having capital control, it's quite difficult for them to have a control on the cryptocurrency transactions. So keeping this in mind, we have worked on the ways in which how we can actually support the government organizations and also the regulators to identify the people who are already working or who are utilizing the blockchain system for moving the cryptocurrencies from one place to another place. Belrium is a blockchain which is the first blockchain which is inbuilt of KYC system. Using the Belrium blockchain, you will be able to identify each and every person who is currently participating in the blockchain, which is currently missing from most of the blockchains that is available. in the market. So we strongly feel that going ahead, governments and the regulators are going to come with some kind of standards. I mean, the KYC standards or AML standards, which are imminent and relevant for the cryptocurrency industry to arrest the money laundering and also give a certain level of capital control for the regulatory authorities. So, keeping that in mind, we are designing the Belgium blockchain to ensure that we can safely transact cryptocurrencies across the blockchains. So, we definitely feel that this is going to be an integral part of exchanges and also the financial institutions to ensure that the people within the blockchain system are identifiable, which is very, very important.
We've seen recently countries like China banning ICOs,
Yeah.
and also there's a lot of regulation in other countries where they are not banning, they are imposing a lot of rules and restrictions, and it's understandable because of the dangers. People, put their money in it and then they just run away with it sometimes. So, what guarantees does the Belrium ICO offer?
Absolutely. See, when you talk about China banning, the ICO issuances, or many other governments putting control on these transactions, all these culminates to only one particular case. The parties who are transacting in this particular blockchains are not identifiable. So, when the technology is, evolved in such a way that this particular part of the blockchain transaction is taken care of, then you will see more and more governments taking their favorable steps to incorporate the cryptocurrency transactions also. Now Belrium plays a major role in this. The reason is because in our blockchain, the miner cannot write a transaction without identifying the end-to-end party. And identifying the end-to-end party is also not done by a centralized system. It is again a decentralized system. So we are going to allow KYC portals for each and every individuals rather than institutions doing the KYC for each individual. So it's like you having your private KYC portals. So once you complete your KYCs within your portal once, so you have your personal system, and you can use that particular KYC system to apply with any organization, whether it is with Belfrix exchange or whether with any other exchange, or even for opening a bank account also. So when it comes to the ICO issuance, again, it's the same thing, like who are the people who are funding you, whether the right money is flowing into your technology. And once the money comes in to your ICO, how you're going to utilize this money. I see this is one of the most major issue with most of the ICO issuances. Once the money is collected, how actually they are going to distribute this particular money, whether is there any check that is being available currently, and even if the check is available, how you are actually going to identify these expenses, what they are doing. So all these things are identifiable using our Belrium blockchain. Primarily because every end-to-end person who is doing the transaction on this are identified. Yeah.
Now coming back to the local market.
Yeah.
If I may ask, what are the challenges so far where you've been in the Kenyan market? What challenges are you facing in the Kenyan market?
Yeah, one of the primary challenges is liquidity, availability of liquidity, because if 10 people come to our exchange, I would rather say 10 out of 10 are buyers, and we find it a little bit difficult to balance the buyers and sellers over here. And due to the lack of regulatory guidelines, people are also slightly doubtful whether to participate or not to participate. And even from the exchange perspective also, we have our own difficulties in accessing liquidity from third-party sources. So yes, it's a challenge, but nevertheless, people are very cooperative over here, and in terms of business traction also pretty good. More and more people are coming in, we have seen a stark difference from when we started. The kind of traders that what we used to have and the kind of traders now, there's a huge difference, because initially people used to come, buy, transfer, but now that's not the case. People buy, they hold. In fact, they hold for quite a longer time also, but less number of people hold for a longer time. People buy and sell. So investors are coming in. People who don't know what cryptocurrency is, they are coming in. And other than crypto enthusiasts, people from other industries, teachers, even pharmaceutical employees, all those people are coming into cryptocurrencies, which is pretty good. So that shows that the spread is reaching to other sectors also. I think thanks to the price increase, which has attracted all these different sector people also.
Yeah, definitely price has been a big factor.
Yeah.
I don't know if you can tell us a little bit, or maybe you can give us a glimpse into your user growth or transaction volumes in Kenya.
It has been steady. Once we launched, we had a pretty good increase in volume. But after that, it has been steady, as I said, primarily due to the liquidity issues that what we had. And we hope to increase that in the coming quarters. In terms of volume, yes, we still are one of the major exchange over here, and we do a pretty good volume. I would say approximately over $1 to $2 million on a regular basis we do it over here. Yeah.
In your opinion, do you ever see cryptos getting adopted in the business world, especially in merchant payments?
For sure. That goes without saying that cryptos are going to be a formidable payment system in the merchant world. And whether Bitcoin is the only currency that is going to be there, it might not be. There could be many other currencies also which will be playing that major role over here, but it depends upon which currency that is complying with the regulatory requirements. So I see those currencies playing a major role in the merchant payment system, but for sure that cryptocurrencies are going to be an integral part of the payment system. In fact, it might take over other currency systems also.
Okay.
Yeah.
So then, in line with that, and how can we push for more adoption of cryptos, say in the local market?
From the merchant side you're talking about?
From all sides, but predominantly from the merchant.
The primary requirement would be from the regulatory side. They have to come up with some kind of guidelines, whether from the tax point of view or from the usage point of view. For a broader participation of the market, you need the guidelines from the regulators, what the citizen can do and what they can't. So once that is there, then it is much easier for exchanges like us, for technologists like us, to take these technologies to various sectors also. And in addition to the regulators, banks also can play a major role into this. They can work with fintechs like us to innovate the banking system, the payment system. And as and when the mainstream financial institutions come into picture by promoting these blockchain systems, definitely new merchants and many other sectors will come into picture for sure. Yeah.
Recently, we saw Bitcoin Cash CEO say that we are starting to see an extinction of banks. What's your opinion on this? Do you think Bitcoin and cryptos will make current financial institutions extinct?
Not really, because banks still have the customer base and the fintechs don't have. The fintechs have innovations, banks have customer base. The kind of reach what bank have, if fintechs like us, if we have to reach anywhere near to them, it will take quite a long time. And not only a long time, it might take quite a lot of effort from our end. But banks, with their licenses, with their reach, with their customer base, and with their loyal customer base, they can help the fintechs to take their products, take their innovations to the mass. So it's a combination of banks and fintechs that can do the wonders. Rather than competition, it has to be collaboration. So it has to be collaboration between the banks and the fintechs to effectively serve the market. So they are not competitors; they are market players. So it has to go hand in hand together. But yes, banks have to come way ahead from the way in which how they are doing. The market is evolving very fast. You need to adapt to the market. You need to adapt to the technology. You have to be flexible enough, and you have to be spot on with your product. Yeah.
Okay. Also, recently, we had J.P. Morgan, CEO, calling Bitcoin a fraud.
Yeah.
So, how do you think Wall Street and maybe mainstream financial institutions look at cryptos like Bitcoin?
See, somebody calling it a fraud, or myself calling it a great, cryptocurrency. I feel that we are all quite small, to comment about such a big technology. So we are still learners. We have to wait and watch and see what this technology can do. Definitely, this technology is so vast that we are just at the brink of the technology. We need to learn. We need to study. So rather than giving comments on what it is and what it is not, so it's better to be part of this and try and experiment what best we can do for the customer. So if the technology is good, the general customers are going to benefit out of that one. And Wall Street looking into the Bitcoin for sure. The hedge funds are taking their baby steps to understand the technology by the pretext of the client asking them about Bitcoins. They themselves are studying about the technology, and they are actively participating in ICO, funding and dumping together. So all these things are happening. It is not that they are far away from the system. They are, but few more regulatory guidelines will pull in more money from these mainstream financial organizations, and that can really push the prices further.
Also, recently we've seen Bitcoin shoot up in price really fast.
Yeah.
In your opinion, do you think we are experiencing a Bitcoin bubble? And if so, what is causing such price surges?
I would not say a bubble, because there is quite strong demand from across. Every new person that comes to the cryptocurrency market, he learns the baby step as Bitcoin, and he also gets access to Bitcoin. So compared to any other currencies, Bitcoin is the most accessible currencies among the cryptos for any newcomer. So the natural advantage is there for Bitcoin, and more and more Asian countries coming in. The clients like exchanges like us also, we currently only provide Bitcoin versus the national currencies to be traded. So the accessibility of other currencies are not there for the newcomers. So it is predominantly the Bitcoin. So all these factors coupled with the CME announcing the derivatives, many hedge funds saying that they will be looking into these currencies, and Japan regularizing the currencies. So all these factors play a major role, in pushing up the prices. And yes, one more part is availability of the Bitcoin is also quite less. But having said that, the price rise has been quite sharp. You should expect sharp corrections also. Few of the deterrents could be the ICOs, the unprecedented growth of ICOs. I strongly feel that majority of the ICOs might not do well, so that could be a deterrent for the market. And even the non-compliance of the Bitcoin transactions, which I would say that a lot of transactions are used for money laundering purposes through exchanges or through peer-to-peer also. Still, that is a menace which government needs to find out a way how they can regulate it. So if they are coming up with negative stance against the Bitcoin transaction, that also can pull down the price to a pretty good level. So you have to be careful at these levels. But yes, both the fundamentals on the positive side and the deterrence on the negative side, both are, I would rather say, evenly balanced at this point in time. So you have to be careful at this point in time. Yeah.
So then, in line with that, then I'm assuming because of all this euphoria, then what do you think is the true value of Bitcoin once the market corrects?
That's quite hard to say, but if there is a correction, I expect it should be it should try to stabilize in the range of $5,000 to $6,000 range. But I would not be surprised if it goes further down also. But currently the euphoria is very, very strong, and the new entrants coming into the market is also quite huge, which keeps pushing the price to much higher levels. Yeah.
So, in closing, any future plans for Belflix?
We have a lot of plans. In fact, one of our most premium product, which is the Belrium blockchain, KYC blockchain, is slated to be launched by March. And we are working with multiple central banks across the globe, including the African central banks, which is like Nigerian central bank, Kenyan central bank, and even in Far East and Asian regions. So we are coordinating with multiple central banks and also the banks to make sure that we come up with an ecosystem wherein which no transaction goes unidentified through the blockchains. So if we are able to contribute to that particular level, we'll be quite satisfied with that one. So that's one major effort that we are doing, and we are also working on the money remittance side using the cryptos. We have applied with a few different regulators to allow us to experiment on the crypto-based money remittance side. And yes, from the blockchain side also we have a lot of developments. And from the exchange perspective, we plan to launch in another 4 more African countries within 2018. So yeah, these are the plans.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
All
This is
right.
a pleasure talking to you. Thanks. Thank you. Thank you.